Hello there guys, it's Stephen here back with another video on a lazy Monday evening. How are you all doing today? Hope you're good after a long weekend. It wasn't a long weekend, I think I had Friday off work so it felt long, which was nice. But anyway, Manchester City beat Newcastle 2-1 and it was a very, very difficult game. And I thought today we'd discuss, after popular demand, 5 things that we learned from the Newcastle game. You guys seem to like this series, which is nice, so thank you very much. If you want to see more of these kind of videos, do let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, if you are new to this channel as well, hit that subscribe button so you get Manchester City videos all the time. You can get on the live streams, you can get in the comments below and have a nice chat with all the other City fans who get involved in my videos, and it'll be good fun and all that kind of stuff. And don't forget as well, give this video a like. But anyway, let's get on to the 5 things that we learned from Manchester City's 2-1 victory over Newcastle. Firstly, you're going to have to start with Leroy Sane. Yes, it isn't going away anywhere, and he was dropped from the squad. It seems that the rumours that Pep isn't happy with his focus and his concentration are actually true. That's dramatic, dropping last year's Young PFA Player of the Year for the squad entirely at home. Well, that was a huge call from Pep. Now, it seems to be based on a lack of focus in training. Apparently, there was rumours late towards the end of the week that he wouldn't be in the squad, and it transpired to be true. Rest in peace at MCFC Baller there on Twitter, who seemed to have the inside scoop somehow. City apparently weren't happy with that, according to Sam Lee anyway, and it actually happened. Now, I'm a little bit worried, but not too worried at the same time. Admittedly, it's not good not having De Bruyne because of his injury and Leroy Sane, two of the most exciting attacking players in the Premier League, not in the starting 11 at the moment. We definitely missed them. I think it's obvious. But at the same time, I do trust Pep to get inside a young, precocious talent like Sane inside his head and sort him out. If there's one manager I want to deal with someone as talented as Sane, it's probably Pep Guardiola. He got the best out of him, and I still don't see any reason why he won't get the best out of him again. It's going to be tough, obviously, given the fact that Mendy's now bombing down the left, so Sane has to adapt his game a little bit to find himself more useful, given the fact that he can't just hug the touchline. But that's for him to worry about to an extent. And in general, the competition for places at the moment is so fierce that I think it's only a good thing, personally. I don't think it'll kind of carry on for much longer. I'm sure this is just a message from Guardiola to get through to him. Fingers crossed it will do the trick. Though it is tempting to worry, I think it'll be okay. Second thing we learned is it's going to be really tough this season. I know we're on about the same points as we were this time last season after 4 games, but it's going to be very hard, mainly because teams are going to do everything they can to try and spoil what we do good, and that's understandable. And given our excellence last year, we've almost dragged the teams around us up to a higher level just to try and compete with us. Sometimes excellence also breeds excellence, and we'll see the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool runners a lot closer this year, but there's no shame in that. I think it'd be unrealistic to expect 100 points this season. We're not going to do that again, but I just want to see us win the league by whatever methods that's possible. I think we're going to see teams like Newcastle come and give us tough games, and every single game that we haven't got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne or whatever, we have to find clever, intricate ways to break down these teams. And I think this team at the moment is still learning how to be that team that's been the champions. But once again, I do believe Pep will make the most of these chances. We just got to kind of ride this early season hesitancy through, and fingers crossed we'll come out the other side stronger. And onto the tactics, it felt like they didn't really work. Almost it felt like a 4-4-2 at times with Fernandinho and David Silva there, then obviously Sterling and Mahrez. It felt a difference to what we've seen recently, and if anything, I don't think it necessarily worked. It felt like we lacked that extra number man in the middle. We're so used to seeing these 2-3-8, so to speak, De Bruyne and Silva, or Silva and Gundogan, or Bernardo Silva, whatever, ahead of Fernandinho. And it looked like we had lack of options in midfield. Now, it felt like the wingers, depending what side the ball was on, were coming inside a little bit, but we didn't quite have the prowess in control of midfield that we usually do. It all went through David Silva, but there was no one on the right side in that same pocket of space, but the equivalent side, to take some of the pressure off David Silva having to deliver. It didn't quite work for me personally. I understood why we overloaded the front ends with 2 strikers, but the movement off the ball wasn't necessarily there from the players. If anything, which is unlike a Pep team, it was a little bit static. Now, I think we're just trying different formations, given the fact that, Sane is obviously not there for whatever reason, De Bruyne isn't there, and we've got like some Mahrez coming in and Mendy, so we've got new options. I think Pep's trying to work out the best way to integrate these players. I understand that, but it didn't quite work. It was telling for me when Bernardo Silva and later on Ilkay Gundogan came in. We looked a lot more at home in the system. We controlled the game a lot more. We kept the ball. We recycled possession better. And I think in general, we'll probably see us go back to that 4-3-3 kind of thing, or maybe 3 at the back or whatever. But I think we'll go back to something we're more comfortable with in terms of the 3-man midfield very soon. And on to Mahrez. I did touch on him then. I think in general, we've got to be patient with Mahrez. I've already seen some people write Mahrez off, which I think is ridiculously short-sighted. You've got to remember that Sane started life slowly at Manchester City. So did Bernardo Silva. If anything, playing out wide in a Guardiola team is so mentally and physically demanding. It's possibly one of the most hardest positions in world football because Pep expects so much from a player. And Mahrez, watching him play, I tweeted the other day, it looked like a player who was trying so hard to impress that he was forgetting how to be himself. In terms of Guardiola, it's like learning quantum physics with Guardiola. He fills you with so much information in terms of where to be on the pitch at what time, and in terms of like tactical awareness and when to go forward and when to move inside. You have so much to remember. They can almost be a little bit confusing, but it's necessary. It's part of a Guardiola team, and it takes so many players, regardless of whether they played in the Premier League before or not. It takes them a long time to get used to grips with that kind of system, but it's intense for a reason. It's a masterclass in football, and we've got to understand that Mahrez, he feels like he's trying to impress the manager. He's aware of the expectation on him. He's also aware that he's coming to an incredible team. He's also aware of the competition around him, the expectation from the fans, trying to impress, all this kind of stuff, and also trying to learn his new roles, then also try and play his regular game. He's clouded with too many thoughts, in my personal opinion. I might be wrong, but that's how he looked to me. One, if anything, trying too hard to impress. I'm sure Guardiola will actually appreciate that commitment to the style, but I think once it becomes second nature for him, it's like when you learn to drive. You know, you can drive after a few lessons, but you don't necessarily do it comfortably, and you're always thinking, oh, I need to be in this gear now. It feels like Mahrez is still thinking about that, as opposed to it coming naturally to him. As soon as it becomes second nature, where to be on the pitch and when to be there, I think that's when we'll see Mahrez really open up and express himself as a player. And he's got so much quality. We just got to give him a few months to settle into the team. And finally, on the other side, there's no doubting this man's quality. Raheem Sterling showed exactly why he's worth the money that he thinks he is worth in terms of the contract negotiations. I thought he was absolutely quality. You cannot doubt his ability. 2 wonderful goals so far this season have been very important for us. Sterling is just still an absolutely quality footballer, and I won't take any criticism towards him in a negative way. I understand there's some question marks about his finishing, but have you seen those goals he scored so far this season? He's fantastic, and Pep Guardiola knows that. I can't imagine a Manchester City team without Sterling there at the moment, because he gives us so much intelligence, so much dynamism, so many options with his movement. He's such an underrated part of his game. Sterling's like game understanding is second to none. He knows where to be, who to move the ball towards, where to run in between, all that kind of stuff. It's just football intelligence. Sterling has that in absolute abundance, and that's what Guardiola appreciates of him. He could have sulked about not starting the previous games, but he came in and he was so good on the left. He's a fantastic footballer. Fingers crossed that we tie him down to the long-term contract that he deserves. I don't know how much money we'll give him, but all I know is that I want him to stay because he's so good. Anyway, guys, that's the 5 things that I learned from the game. I'm sure there's loads more to discuss, so let me know in the comments anything that I missed on, but that's just my personal opinion. If you are new to this channel, as I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you agree with what I've said or if I'm talking a load of nonsense. It's your opinion as well. You're entitled to it, so get in the comments below. Don't forget, drop a like on this video, and I will see you soon.